binder, and you can see that this model, this is being pinned by me. Okay? I will check one more time. Let me see if the pins are in place. You will have about 13, 14 features. Okay? But look here, in cross section you will see like this. You will not be able to see all the spinal nerves. Okay? This is the ventral or the anterior side. This is the dorsal or the posterior side. All right? Because it will be like this. This is front, this is back. Because we stand like this, so spinal cord is this way. I'm holding like this way. Now look at the spinal nerve. I think this will be better. Look at this spinal nerve here. How many spinal nerves do you see here? 2 on the left hand side and 1 on the right hand side. Spinal nerve arises at has two origins. One is called the dorsal or the posterior root of spinal nerve. This is the ventral or anterior root of spinal nerve. Do you get that? And then they join to form the spinal nerve. This is the spinal nerve. But on the dorsal side, you can see a swelling. Can you see that swelling? It's called the dorsal root ganglion. Dorsal root ganglion, singular ganglion, plural ganglia. What does it contain? It contains the cell bodies of sensory neurons. One thing you should learn as a student of anatomy, I already mentioned about the sensory or afferent neurons, interneurons or association neurons, and motor neurons or efferent neurons. The cell bodies of sensory neurons are never located inside the central nervous system. You get that? Some parts of the sensory neurons, like the axon terminals, they are located in the central nervous system, but not the cell body. Cell body is always located in the ganglion here for the spinal nerves, here the dorsal root ganglion. For the cranial nerves, there are ganglia, but they are parts of peripheral nervous system. You get that? If there is a question like, the cell bodies of sensory neuron are located in the gray matter of spinal cord, false, or in the gray matter of brain, false. Okay? Now, how to determine? I think I told you on last Thursday, there is the anterior median fissure which is deep. Let me do that. Can you see this is very deep? That is called the anterior median fissure. This will tell you which side is the ventral side or dorsal side. Definitely this is ventral side. But on the dorsal side, it is shallow. Shallow, posterior median sulcus. To identify, when you see the model with the spinal nerves, immediately you know which side is the dorsal, because the dorsal root ganglion, this is the dorsal side. You get that? Okay. But in the cross section on the microscope, you will not see these nerves. So you have to determine on the basis of the anterior median fissure and posterior median sulcus. Anterior median fissure is, look here, it's so deep. Here, this is deep, very deep, but this is shallow. This is the dorsal median or the posterior median sulcus. This is the anterior median fissure. You get that? And there are, look here, the gray matter and white matter well defined. White matter, it appears white. Why? Because of the these represent myelinated axons and some neuroglia. The myelinated axons will appear white because of the myelin sheath. Okay? What kind of neuroglial cells will be involved for myelination? We already, not one. In the central nervous system, it will be oligodendrocyte. But in the peripheral nervous system, it will be Schwann cell. And the cell bodies and unmyelinated axons and dendrites and neuroglial cells will form the gray matter. Arrangement of gray matter in spinal cord, gray matter in the central core, white matter in the periphery. Do you get that? So, white matter, there are three distinct regions. This is called the dorsal column of white matter or dorsal white column. Or dorsal and posterior, I told you, could be used interchangeably. Dorsal column of white matter, lateral column of white matter, and, oh no, sorry, this is the, yes, dorsal column of white matter, lateral column of white matter, ventral column of white matter.
So anterior, posterior, and lateral white columns.
Anterior, posterior, and lateral white columns. They are not,
Oh,
the white columns have not been repeated, just to say posterior, lateral, anterior white columns. Or you can say posterior, lateral, anterior columns of white matter. Something.
Okay. So you would just point to the white, the space.
This white.
Okay.
But this here, this middle line is the posterior median sulcus, and here it will be anterior median fissure. It's very, very deep.
and are the columns considered a region or a structure?
Column considered the area.
Region, area,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna look at this while you talk.
Yeah, but don't
I
handle
won't touch it.
No,
I promise.
no.
You break it, you buy it.
No, then I have to crazy glue again. It will take time, and that will make me crazy. Okay, now look here. The gray matter. Gray matter also has different regions. Like on the dorsal side, it is the dorsal gray horn or dorsal horn of gray matter. Look here, dorsal horn of gray matter, lateral horn of gray matter, ventral horn of gray matter. You get that? So here, like you have, for the dorsal white columns, on the two sides, right side, left side, isn't it? Ventral also right side, left side. Lateral also right side, left side. Now, look, this gray matter looks like a butterfly or bat shaped, looks like a butterfly. Doesn't sting like a bee. These are the two halves of gray matter. One is the right half, left half. And these two halves are connected by a strip of gray matter. Look, this strip, can you see this strip?
Mhm.
This is called the gray commissure. gray commissure, COMMISSURE, is given. It's in your study guide. Where is your study guide?
I have it.
I don't have any extra, can tell you.
No, I have.
You, yeah, sure.
Probably not.
The last one, I gave it to someone who was not present last time. Now, in the center of the Grey Commissure is the central canal. All these features I'm going to show you under the microscope, except for this dorsal and ventral roots of spinal nerve, a dorsal root ganglion for the spinal nerve. Okay? So let's do it. Plus, I told you I would tell you the dura mater, pia mater, arachnoid mater I will not be able to. Yes, arachnoid mater I will be able to show you. So, you remember gray matter and white matter and doesn't matter, does it matter? That's tough. Okay, here we go. With the